We kept it. We mounted it.
Boom! Welcome back, everybody. Another Tuesday night chat with the Muskrat. And look what we got here. We got Mr. Jeremy and Andrew Dufour of Creole Catfishing. Look at that.
We can't keep the fish away from us.
These guys,
they're everywhere.
They go chasing the fish, and the fish are now chasing them.
I can't bring him anywhere, I'll tell you.
That's a good fish too, right there. But that is not nowhere near the excitement that you guys had with this. Did you guys nickname this fish? Because I nicknamed my giant fish, the tank.
We just affectionately call it the hundo.
Yeah,
the hundo. That is super fitting. There's no doubt about it. When you say the hundo, what kind of fish you're talking about?
It's the. Even if there's another one day, or when there's another one, that one will be the hundo.
Yeah.
Or the fish that messed up Jeremy's math.
I was so excited that I forgot how to do math. I am free to admit that.
Your math wasn't mathing, huh?
No, it was not, because I plain as day call out on the video that fish was 100.6, and I did the math wrong. He was 101.1.
I didn't realize till after I edited that in the video I said 101, and Jeremy corrected me. No, it's 100.6. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey, when they get that big, all those decimal points and anything after the 100, it doesn't matter.
It don't even matter.
I just needed confirmation that it was triple digit. I didn't care by what amount.
Well, I had a lot of respect through all the excitement. You guys were like, look, it's this is what it weighs. We got to minus the net, and then we'll have our true weight. And and you was like right on it. Because I'm telling you right now, if mine weighed 99 pounds, I'd be trying to figure out a way to get it to 100.
I'm not gonna lie, because I was when I picked up the sling and held it, I was the only one who could see the scale, and I'm looking at it, and it never flashed in the 90s. Like never once did it flash like back and forth. It was just hundreds the whole time,
100 plus.
But the whole time trying to shake and hold that thing still, I'm doing math in my head. Okay, what number do I need on the scale for it to be a hundo? Because Freddie's sling weighs 1.4, and I need, I'm just doing this the whole time. And when it flashed 102.5 on the scale, I knew I had it. I said, okay, I know for a fact we've got over 100 here.
And it's not in the video, it's how alive that fish was.
Ooh.
It was angry. Like I cut out a few spots where it you could see where it bit my thumb.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a good reason why I cut the camera off right there. Because I was trying to decide if to edit myself or if to just cut it. I ended up just cutting it.
There you go.
Because he bit my thumb and rolled.
There may have been some bad words.
I thought he dislocated my thumb for a little while.
Well, in the excitement, there could be an excuse for some profanity, I'm sure. But what do you say we get kicked off here, right, by saying hello to everybody that's taking the time to tune in with us? We got some lovely folks here in the house. Jackie was here yesterday. I don't know what she was a day. She was so worried about being late that she was a day early. I don't know what happened.
There you go.
She's in the other room listening as her and the kids are hanging out. But we got Mike Greenwell in the house. Wabash Nate, welcome in. River Rats Catfishing Club. Who you think? You ever heard of those guys? We got some River Cats tackle going on. I knew I'd be representing y'all today. Duke City Fishing, welcome in. Mike's fishing home, man. I ain't seen you for a while. What's up, brother? Catch fish with us. We was able to fish with them over the weekend out on Hoover. We had a good time. Dan Berry Sports was welcome in. Paul Edmiston, welcome in, buddy. Bobcat Outdoors, you got to hang out with me. We was live fishing yesterday out on the Ohio River. Greg Burgess is in the house. There's Josh, the weekend angler. Howdy, y'all. It's time for the muskrat and the coon.
Yes. He knows what's up.
I was waiting for bone peaches, but it looks like coon peaches.
You know what that says, right? You know what that means.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Small water charge. John, welcome in. Two guys in the house. Another River Cats tackle brother there. Jeff Duvall, how's it going? Welcome in. Let's see. Bugman 22's in the house. Randy Swain's here hanging out as well. Connie Dufour.
That would be Mom. She is the person responsible for us.
Both of you?
Both of us.
Bless her heart. She is a
Well,
saint.
the good parts of us.
I'll let you have that. Jerry's in the house.
Me first, him second. Him 7 years later.
I got you. See, Jerry Parker's in the house. He was doing the live fishing event, the Top Cat last night. I didn't get to catch the whole thing. We was tied up here, but like they cut to the live and like 60 seconds in, he had a fish on. Like it was, like I don't even know if they made it 60 seconds. He had a fish on, but I did see he ended up with a 71-pound fish last night. So I don't care what competition you put him in. Jerry is going to go all out and try. We drew him as a partner for the mystery partner, and he messaged me. He's like, "Bud, I don't know what I'm going to do. Our river came up 18 feet. Everything's trash. All my bank spots are gone. All my backup rivers are full of debris and crap." And what did he do? He still went out and caught fish and helped land our team fourth place in the tournament that day. So we didn't help a whole lot, but we helped a little bit.
Well, yeah, you do what you can,
Yeah, there he is. Bobcat says Jerry's an animal. So, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So I think there's Burrito Catfishing Lady. What's going on, Lisa? Thanks for stopping in. Welcome. I think FOA needs to have a Jerry and Creole size sling. Yeah, we watched the video, and that 100-pounder, it filled up the sling now.
That's the second fish that I've put in that FOA sling that the tail hangs out the end of it. I've caught 2 fish that are longer than the sling.
Well,
we need the tournament size edition or something.
Yeah, there you go, Freddie.
If it didn't break on the 88 or 86 and the 100, I think you're good.
It handled them. Not with those really big fish. You know, as long as you balance it right in that sling, you're okay. It's just fine.
You got to make sure that nose is in just the right spot. And
yeah, I imagine it'd want to try to slide out one side or the other one.
Yeah.
They're very head heavy. They want to just fall on the head end. Bad.
Oh yeah. Danny Stone's in the house. You got the whole clan in here behind you tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, first of all, let's start out with a comment that I heard or saw that you make the other day, which was you guys have been working on an old technique, putting a new twist on an old technique, basically. And you've been doing something a little bit different with your bumping style that has apparently been working out well for you guys. And I'm going to assume that it's going to be unique to your area and your conditions that
it is and then it's not. I know for sure, like Bobcat and Mike, they're going to be really interested to hear about this. And Jerry, guys that I know that bump and everything, but this can be done whether you're at a dam or not. Normally when people go bumping, you kind of pick out a section of river that you want to bump, and you may, let's say, scan it, overall scan it. You may scan a mile of river, or like us, we will scan half a mile worth of channel behind that dam to kind of see what's going on. Or sometimes, like we do, we just run to the dam and bump on back, and let's see if we can locate some fish with the bumping rods and kind of get a feel for things. Well, what we started doing, and this is kind of why I call it precision bumping now. Yeah, precision bumping. Okay,
precision bumping. Okay.
Yeah, the first one's free. After that, I charge for that. So basically, what the idea is, because something that Epic always told me and told others, and it always rings in my ears, that these really, really big mega fish, for the most part, are not going to be as aggressive and as fast to get to a bait than smaller fish. They tend to be a little more cautious. They tend to be just a little, that always rings in my ears. It has for years now since he told me that. So what we started doing earlier this fall, we started this a few months ago with great success, is the number one thing is we're going up and down that channel with the sonar and actually marking individual small groups of fish. And we're kind of treating it like you'd be precision anchoring on those fish. We're marking almost down to a specific fish. I like to do more than one, but for example, when we caught the big fish, I marked 3 big marks together sitting behind a big hump in that current. Well, I treated it like precision anchoring. I got above them. I knew about how far I was above them. I had my distance, but I set my boat up to bump. I just got far enough in front of them, and I specifically targeted that small area where I knew those big marks were. That's the first thing, is you're marking fish and you're specifically targeting that little group of fish. That's one part of the recipe. Second part of the recipe, which I think is the most important part, is I slow down a lot. I'm talking I'm only letting my boat creep back 0.3, 0.2 miles an hour. I'm barely letting my boat creep back, using a bigger lead. That way I could really slow the boat down. And I'm even not moving the rod up and down as aggressively as I normally would. I'm keeping a tighter contact to the bottom. I'm not putting as much motion in the rig. Overall, just slowing things down. And that's more of the precise part of it. And whenever we started doing that and upsizing the baits quite a bit, to avoid the small ones that are going to come hit it.
Right.
When we started that method of bumping, immediately the size of our fish started increasing. I mean, the first time I really tried it and dialed it in is when we caught that, was it 72 or 73 for the benefit tournament for JG.
The one that pulled you out the back of the boat.
The one that almost pulled me out the back of the boat.
Yeah.
That was the first one. The next time we did the technique was the Can You Beat Creole tournament, where I caught that 87. And then the next time I do it, we get 100 out of it. So it's immediately showing us results by specific targeting of those fish and just slowing down.
And once or twice throughout that, including the hundo, we would try to anchor on them. In the case of the hundo, the current wasn't quite right. We couldn't anchor.
Right.
And we couldn't hard anchor safely right there. We weren't willing to do it.
Right.
So bumping was the only option to safely fish them. In another case, we caught one bumping, tried to anchor on them. They wouldn't bite it bump. They wouldn't bite it anchored. Went back to bumping and they bite it.
Yeah.
So we targeted the same fish with 2 different techniques, and they wanted the presentation.
Yeah. They would only bite that. We were still moving back slow, 0.2, 0.3, something like that.
Right.
But they wanted it. They wanted that slow drift in the bait. They did not want it anchored. We tried. We couldn't catch them that way.
I was going to say at 0.2 or 0.3, you're just about on anchor. I mean, you just about got her stopped.
You're going slow enough that you can't just look at the bank to see how fast you're moving. You got to look and stare at it for a second to make sure you're moving. That's how slow you're going back.
And I usually use a heavier weight than him, so we're bumped not next to each other, not to get tangled.
Right. Yeah, I get further out.
One reason why a lot of people keep asking was in the video, was that really how short the fight was, and it was because I was not even at a 45-degree angle out the back of the boat. I had maybe 60 feet of line out in like 40 feet of water.
Oh, wow.
When I caught the fish, and he came off, he pulled that one hard time, and that's when you see me, he pulls it down, and then he comes to the surface. And I just never had that much line out, so the fight didn't last that long.
Caleb, get him out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And when I heard in the video, Jeremy said, you want me to cut the trolling motor off. That makes a big difference when when I caught my big fish bumping, the fight wasn't long, and that's why you get your butt kicked in the boat, because the fish never had time to wear itself out in the water, and so when he got in the boat, he's still green.
That's exactly what happened, because it's funny. If you watch the video and kind of know the backstory, it gets funny because he had a good takedown. Really, the fish really pulled the rod down good, set the hook, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, looks like a decent fish in my mind, because I hate calling out how heavy I think the fish is before I weigh it. I hate doing that because I don't want to jinx myself. So I'm thinking in my mind, he's 30 something, maybe 40, just judging by how he's acting. Well, then he moves over like on my side, and then he just drills that Uncle Lou rod down hard, like the hardest I've ever seen Uncle Lou bumping rod go. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's 50 or 60. All right, okay, we doing something. Well, then he comes up and he rolls over that first time behind the boat, and I see that tail the size of my face, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's 70 or 80. Okay, like every time I see something happen, the weight keeps going up. And then finally, when I got him in the net, and I'm just I hadn't even lifted him yet. When I got him in the net and I'm holding that net vertical, in my mind, I'm thinking, this might be our hundo. I don't want to say it out loud, but I'm thinking this might be it. When I horsed him and I could not pick him up, I had to drag him over the top of my gunnel. That in my mind, that's when I knew.
And Jeremy's not small.
No.
And he's not weak. He does construction and hull stuff. If he's struggling to pick up a fish, it means something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't be graceful if I had to pull a 100-pounder over the side by myself.
No, it wasn't graceful. You can tell in the video that I lifted him and I just couldn't lift anymore, and I drug him over the top of my gunnel. I ain't even ashamed to say it. That poor fish.
Oh yeah.
The back of Jeremy's boat's not that small, and the fish is basically the same length as his back deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you guys get measurements on that for length and girth? Or
I wish I would have. I'll be honest with you. I wish I would have. As far as girth, I have no idea. Lengthwise, between like measuring my back deck and estimating how much of him stuck out of Freddie's waist sling, that fish was knocking 60 inches. He was between 58 and 60 inches long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And girth, I mean, who knows on girth? I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I will tell you this. For every bit he was tall, he was also wide. That fish looked like a piece of pipe. He was perfectly round on all sides.
If the reference I use, because I sent the picture to a friend that had never met me. Yeah, in that picture, the smallest part of my wrist is about the size of a red Solo cup.
Yeah.
If you want a reference. And my hand, I can just about palm an NBA basketball. Not quite. So as a size reference. And I don't normally strain enough for you to see my forearm muscles popping out like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
That is.
I was having fun, but I was telling Jeremy, like, take the pictures.
Yeah.
Right there. Take that picture.
Yeah,
that's exactly what that was.
I was not faking that face.
No. It was like, hurry up. I need to get this fish out of my arms.
I love all the pictures, buddy.
Oh, Jeremy was doing. I left it in the video. Jeremy was doing like a model. Like, all right, turn there. Yeah, good.
Oh, it was great.
All right, lean him down. That's their shot. Give it to me.
That's.
Well, I wasn't holding it up, so I'm like, well, we go take our time and do this right, because I wasn't holding this thing up.
I'm glad we did.
That's what he's supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah, you are apprehensive when a hundo comes up. You think there's no way, and then they hit the deck, and you're like, crap.
It's funny how that fish grows from in the net in the water to the deck. Yeah. I swear they gain 20 pounds between the time you net them and the time they hit the deck. Because always when they hit the deck, that's when it gets real. It's like, and wow, this thing is big.
It was a slow bite. They were taking it real awkwardly. We had to kind of give them line, let them take it. It wasn't nearly a typical bumping slam the bait. So I thought at first it was the same size fish that Jeremy caught at the beginning, like a little 20-pounder or something like that. I was like, okay, look, we got a fish. That's why you see me just standing there holding it with one arm, having a good old time. Yeah. And when he pulls, you see my right hand come up all of a sudden. I was like, oh my God, there's a fish here.
Mm-hmm. He woke up all of a sudden.
Yeah, and my drag wouldn't set quite right. I wasn't ready for that pull.
That's an important part of the equation. We actually talked about that over the weekend. Did a lot of fishing this weekend, and never goes without fail that whatever the weakest link in your setup is, that's where the fish will find. And if you want to be prepared to catch a big fish, you got to be prepared to catch a fish every single time you put a line out. You got to. That's the one that's going to catch the biggest fish of your life. Are you ready?
And I tell you, it's so funny because we talked about it in the truck the whole way there. We talked about it on the boat ride there. And even when we saw how dirty and nasty the water was, we were like, man, if we catch a fish, we're going to be lucky. It's horrible conditions, best, easiest bait catching I've ever had in my life. Go figure.
Well, and I wondered if that was a little foreshadowing in the video or if that was your PB throw with a cast net and you landed all those big shad.
No, that was by far the most and biggest shad I've ever had in one throw of a cast net. I probably had, I'm going to say 40 gizzard shad in that net. The smallest one was probably 14 inches.
Oh, that was an incredible cast net of shad. I
would absolutely love to have some shad like that around here.
Live well, his big live well, not his bait well with shad.
Yeah. So, and like I said, the whole time we were thinking, man, this is going to be a tough. I said, look, we're out fishing, but it's going to be tough. We're not expecting anything today. We're not expecting anything good. Keep expectations low. You know, I guess if you're not disciplined enough, you'd maybe think, don't worry about that rig. We ain't going to catch nothing today anyway. Don't, lesson learned. You never know when that big fish is going to come. You got to be ready. You just never know.
Luckily, we learned that lesson, but we still had all of our good gear, good rigs, good
everything
hooks.
Was ready to roll. I'm OCD to the point now where everything's going to be ready.
Yeah.
I don't care what my odds are. I'm ready.
And what's not quite in the video is right before we caught the fish, me and Jeremy each, I'll say missed a fish, but it was more of a didn't really grab it.
Picked it up and dropped it.
They picked it up. I pulled too quickly, getting overexcited. Jeremy did it too. It was too small of a fish, didn't grab our bait. And we started talking like, okay, we need to give him some time. We need to do this. And we talked about the technique for how to get the hook set. Yeah. And immediately he caught that. What was it, 20?
About 25 or so. We didn't even weigh it.
He caught that one. Jeremy said, yes, here's how I set the hook. Here's how they're biting. Very next bite, caught a hundo.
Was that one. The very next one was that one. Yep.
And I'm sure that the rest of the folks in here that bump can attest to that. You know, there are times when, they'll just bang it once and just take peel and drag. And there's times where they'll bump it and you have to stop for a second. Like, okay, come on. Take it.
That's exactly how. Now, keep in mind, we were using baits the size of both of my hands put together. I knew. I said, okay, these are really big baits. Yeah. If you ever hear me say while I'm bumping, hey, I gotta have to talk them into it a little bit. That's me. I feel the bite, and I fish with an open spool all the time. Right. And I feel the bite, and I give them line. I give them line, I kind of thumb them, kind of gauge how active they are, and then, put the brakes on them. That's what we had to do to catch those fish. Not an aggressive bite at all. They didn't wake up till they got to the boat.
So with using baits that big, do you guys use double hook rigs, or you guys just using?
We had single hook rigs. If I would have used any bigger baits, it would have probably required a double hook. We probably had an honest 6 inches of meat out behind the hook. That's about my limit on a single hook.
We were on the line, mostly because we didn't pre-tie any double hooks.
That's another thing too.
Because of this fish, we immediately said, yep, we should be pre-tying double hooks.
Yeah. Because immediately I was like, ooh, that means we can go even bigger. Because I thought about it, but I decided not to do it because I didn't have any double hooks ready. I wanted to put one of them whole 16-inch gizzard shad, just cut the tail off and just go bumping with it. But I said, no, one's going to grab it right at the gills and I'm going to miss him and I'm going to cry and can't have all that,
And then
I'm with you.
I can't really pass up the opportunity because you kind of segued talking about be prepared with the gear and all.
Right.
Like, can I see that beautiful jersey you have, Roger? Look at that.
Yeah, baby.
Let me, honestly, this is why we're with that company, because the way that hook was in that fish's mouth.
Oh, yeah.
It was a solid hook set in
about 4 inches back, straight behind his tooth patch, right in the center.
If you take this fish's head,
I just realized half the size of the one you caught.
Yeah, which is half the size of the one we caught.
And you take that top lip, point at it, Jeremy.
Yeah, right there. We had that fish hooked right here.
That was it.
About 4 inches behind the tooth patch, right there in the roof of his mouth. That's where that hook stuck in.
And it was hooked in the bone.
Yep.
And the way the hook was put in there, it was solidly in the bone, but only if that's the hook, only like, the camera's back.
Just enough that the barb went in.
Only the barb and like
Just
the initial
enough.
bend was in.
Yep.
So there was a lot of the major curve wasn't in the fish. It puts a really, really awkward angle on the hook.
Yes.
I guarantee you, and I make it a point, I never talk bad about any hooks ever.
Right.
But I will say, if you're using a non-quality hook, that hook would have failed with that fish the way it
would have bent that hook. No, Bug Man, that was offset hybrid tip circle hook. That's what we were using.
Yep. It was the RTT 12-aught German alloy circle hooks.
Yeah.
And if it not for how strong that German alloy is, hooks I've used in the past would have either bent or broke.
Yep.
The way that hook grabbed that fish.
Yep. 100%.
Most folks sleep with teddy bear sleeps with that stuffed catfish. Here you go. Yeah, I agree. That just physics on that. When you're all your pressure is just right there on the very end of the hook. That's a lot of pressure when you're pulling with all your might, and that fish is pulling with all his might.
This is another hook that happened to be on the table. But yeah, it was grabbed basically about that much.
Use this big hook so they can see.
Oh yeah, you can see this one.
There you go. Show and tell, baby.
It like if this is the roof of the fish's mouth, it was caught about like that.
Yeah.
So this section,
but pulling sideways, keep in mind.
But this section, so normally when you catch a fish, it's like this, right?
Right. Yeah.
But it was in the bone like this.
Yep.
And it was pulling on it at a slight angle.
Yeah.
Now it was in the bone. It was so sharp. It was in the bone because put on some headphones in the video. You can hear when I pull it out, it goes, and you can hear me pull it out the bone.
Yep.
There you go. Tommy Long says, buy good hooks. A record fish can happen anytime.
And that is the absolute Cinderella story of never in a million years that day would I have thought that was, if I could have picked any day to say we have no chance of catching a big fish, that would have been it. Looking at those river conditions, I thought, there ain't no way in hell we getting a big fish today. But when I saw those big marks, I said, ooh, okay, we're on to something here. And there we go.
And the bite turned off.
Here's a great comment by Mikey because he knows that leader line was definitely rubbing that tooth pad the whole time.
Hey, what's the company that you get that leader line from?
That leader line I use, and it's not a secret at all because anybody can go online and buy it from the same company. But I get it from a company called Nets and More. It's 100-pound braille line that they use to make their cast nets. It's 100-pound clear mono, but that's what they use it for. It's like weed eater string. It ties the ugliest knots you'll ever see in your life.
Mm-hmm. Crimp it.
That's why I started crimping my rigs because this stuff is so stiff you can't tie a good knot in it. I started crimping it, but it is the best leader line hands down I've ever used, and it's $18 for a 400-yard spool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
But Nets and More in Jonesville, Louisiana. They got a website and everything. You can order it from them. It's awesome.
It gives my hands a cramp when I snell with that stuff. And only certain types of snell work because the wrong snell, it won't quite do.
Yeah. In fact, this is it on this big hook. That's that 100-pound. I snelled this hook sitting here at this desk probably 3 months ago.
You think it has some memory?
Yeah. Look, that's how stiff that stuff is. It's crazy. Wow.
It don't break on rocks though.
No.
Good God.
No.
Greg, man, happy birthday to you. 71 years old, man. Congratulations. Hope you had a fantastic day yesterday.
And at the same time on the subject, we'll thank not only the River Cats hooks, but the swivels, the 3-way swivels, and the rattles.
Yep.
And the braid on the rod was also the Ancient Mariner braid.
Ancient Mariner braid. Yep.
And
it held up. It caught all them big fish.
Yeah.
There you go. Chris with us says he uses the same mono from the same company down there.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, they're known. Maybe not nationwide, but they're a pretty popular company, for their nets and everything. A lot of people know about them.
You're not tying an improved clinch with that line.
Oh God,
it's just not happening.
There ain't no way, dude.
Absolutely. I use 80-pound Cast King line. It's got real low memory. It's a saltwater line, is what it is. But and it's 4 liters. But I've had real good luck with it. It's been super tough. But you can still tie a knot. Now I do crimp, but I could still, I can still tie a knot with it if I need to or want to.
I think Jeremy, before he discovered that, used some Andy.
I would go back and forth between Andy 80-pound leader and that Cast King saltwater leader that Roger's talking about. I used that for quite a while myself.
He might say difference. My opinion is you just get so much more of that stuff for the price, and it's every bit as tough.
If it would be the same price as everything else, I probably wouldn't have switched. But it's literally, technically you can say it's an eighth of the price. You get 400 yards for the same price you pay for 50 yards of Andy leader.
Yeah, he's had the same pool for like a year and a half.
Oh God, and I ain't fixing it out either.
Yeah, boy. Hang on a second. There's no way those guys.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
Yep, just brothers. That's all.
What I did?
No, I sure was saying there's no way those two aren't related.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say you guys are still in great shape as far as water temperature goes. I'm going to assume. What kind of water temperature are you guys seeing down there?
I have not been on the river since we caught that hundo, unfortunately. But
it was
as of
70.5,
it was right at 70 at the dam, which that's pulling water right out of the Mississippi. So
yeah, if you want to know the conditions as we're sitting down talking, I'll turn and look at the sonar. You can see the exact condition it was caught in.
Yeah, so we might have broken into the upper 60s by now with all this rain.
With this rain, I'm sure it did.
And we've got some cold water coming, like from Jerry and them up there finally. But as far as water temperatures, we're still up there.
We're still bumping for another 10 degrees.
Oh, at least. Oh yeah.
There you go. Tommy says now you guys need to come on up to Sandusky and get over 20s and channels at the bay next May or June.
It is a shame that place is so far away. I bet that would be a blast, especially you go over there like with the smaller rods and just have fun with it.
I don't know if Jeremy knows. Did you know that within a week, Monday I caught that fish? And it was my PB blue cat.
Mm-hmm.
That Saturday I caught my PB bull red with James.
Did you now?
Yep.
Oh, well, let's see.
2 PBs in 1 week. 2 species, 1 saltwater, 1 freshwater.
Wow,
that's a good week fishing.
Jerry's saying his water's in the 50s there already.
Oof. Yep. See, all that's got to come down to us. It's gonna our water temperatures. I find when they finally decide to start coming down, they come down quick.
Yeah,
they really do. They come down quick.
We still been right around 60. I can't remember what we had Saturday. Yesterday I saw it was right at 60 degrees on the Ohio.
Mike, I'm looking at your comment there, Mike. I'm kind of thinking the same thing with this new kind of precision bumping thing that I done got in my head and slowing down. I want to see how cold the water can get and still catch fish that way. I'll be honest with you. I'm determined.
I'd say you guys got a better shot than anybody when it comes to, you guys obviously will have some warmer water. But I know that Bobcat did that experiment last year, and if he's still in here, he bumped into the wintertime, and he still caught some fish for a while. I know that things slowed down quite a bit, but it could still be done.
Yeah,
57 degrees.
So far, the coldest water I've actually still caught fish in, I think, was 53 or 54 degree water.
That's what I remember. Yeah,
I caught. In fact, at one time that fish was my PB, but I was
bumping a lot faster back then too.
And I was using chicken, but we don't talk about that.
That wasn't chicken.
It was at one time my PB was bumping with chicken for a little while.
We're gonna have to do some bumping because there might be a new bumping rod coming to the market from Ancient Mariner at some point that needs testing this winter.
Well, they ain't no Mike. It's coming.
I was gonna say I've been hearing about this bumping rod for a while. I just ain't seen it yet.
We've been working very, very, very closely developing this. This has been back and forth conversations for the past 8 months, 6-8 months.
Yeah,
developing this rod, and I think I'm going to have my prototypes here in a month, 6 weeks
before Christmas.
Before Christmas for sure. We're going to have the first prototypes in our hands to take out on the water. Man, I can't wait.
I will be bumping when the water's cold. Might not catch a fish, but I will be bumping.
Yeah. We got to do it just to say we did.
Poor Uncle Lou needs to be retired. I kind of want that to be the last fish Uncle Lou ever catches.
Right.
That would be, to me, that would be kind of cool.
It would be.
Yeah. Goober Time Guide Service. Dan's in the house. What's up, buddy? He's saying the king of goobers over here at Creole Catfishing. You guys
appreciate it, brother.
On the biggest. The Green River stays a bit warmer, and the current might pick up a few times to let you bump. Okay. So it's Mike. So yeah, we'll get an opportunity here and there. It's actually going to rain here. Like we got a chance to rain every day for the next 2 weeks. So we're about to get some water now.
Yeah.
With that water is going to come falling temperatures. So
right.
How active the fish are going to be for how long, I don't know. But
luckily, we'll always have current because of that hydro dam.
Oh yeah,
it'll just be a water temperature issue.
Yeah, water temperature and trash, depending on like right now we've had a sharp rise in the river, and naturally it's putting a lot of trash in the river. So you got to kind of fight that, but otherwise we'll be okay.
Danny's ready to fight back. He says just put a size 10,000 reel on Black Betty with 150-pound braid. These boys been whipping me. It's time to get serious.
Bring it, Danny.
I caught that one on 65-pound braid.
I know, right?
154.
I know, right?
Yeah, and
that's nervous.
That's the thing. Your gear is only as good as the guy's got a hold of it. You can have the best, most expensive gear on the planet, but if you don't know how to work a fish or work a drag, just tie a knot properly or crimp it properly, chances of you landing that fish are not good. But you put decent equipment in the hands of somebody who knows how to use it, deadly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because if you want to know how much sometimes we adjust drags and stuff like you say, and Jeremy says I'll play with mine more than he does. In the videos, you'll hear me saying I'm tightening and loosening as the fish gets closer.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of you could tell when guys have been catching decent fish for a while, you'll notice that when they're reeling in, they'll stop and pull line out and just keep checking their drag and keep saying how much tension's on it. And as hard as it is to do it, most of us will back our drag off right at the very end when that fish is close, because at that point there's because there's no play left. Your rod is doubled over, it's maxed out. Your line, even if it's mono, it has no stretch. Your braid has no stretch. Everything is maxed out. And if that fish decides he's ready to go at 100 pounds, like I think Mike Greenwell said earlier, at that size, he'll do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, and I think a mistake that we made early on and when we first started doing this, and I kind of preach that now, is especially now for the bank guys, I get why they can't do this, because you're trying to bring the fish up on a bank. You can't risk doing something like this. But especially for the boat guys, hey, when you've got that fish close to the boat, loosen the drag. If he wants to surge and run, let him go. He ain't going nowhere.
9 times out of 10,
that's where confidence in your gear, especially your hooks.
Yeah.
You'll notice me and Jeremy, we have no concern. Once we know we have the fish on, we know our hooks are going to stay on there.
Yeah, I ain't worried about
it. It makes a big difference for our stress level, knowing that we're confident in our gear.
Hey, Sharon, thanks for stopping in. Just stop by, say hi. Let you anglers here and all of our guys know that I'm in the rooms just sitting back. Now, this room is awesome. Love you. Hey, thanks, Sharon. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody in, just like right now, I got 43, 44 people in the chat. We got about 10 talking. So some people just kick back and got you on the TV, just enjoying themselves. There ain't a daggone thing wrong with it.
Look, I mean, look at the rod and reel setup that caught that big fish. And it's not nearly the only big fish it's caught this year, just the biggest. But look, that was one of the, I'm not saying the first, but one of the first production Uncle Lou bumping rods he ever made. That's the same rod that I won when I won Winter Blues like a few years ago. And he gave it away as a prize. Well, me, we. Yeah,
helped win that rod.
Yeah, you were with me in the boat when we won that. But I've had that rod for years now. The reel was that little Okuma convector. You know, the one that Chris Souders always talks about.
I got the exact same setup. I actually had it in the boat with me yesterday. My Uncle Lou's rod with the Okuma convector.
That's what caught that fish. I mean,
I can't say much like pro staff and stuff, but I cannot hate on that reel.
No,
I've caught too many fish on it.
I can't. I will never, ever. I mean, I'd love to sell them one of the Ancient Mariner bumping reels. Don't get me wrong. But if somebody says, well, hey, look, the Okuma convector is a little cheaper, I'm going to get it. I will never argue with somebody. That is an awesome little reel. It's been great to me.
Yeah. I will be getting in the mail, I think, tomorrow, its replacement, the new Ancient Mariner 400 size.
I got 3 on the front seat of my truck.
Well, they're not for you. Me and Jeremy's personal one should be in my mailbox tomorrow, and it's going to get replaced because this one will be better.
Yeah.
But I can't hate on that convector. I've caught too many good fish on it to tell somebody, oh, that reel sucks. Like, I won't do it.
Absolutely can't hate on that reel. And what, they're on sale for what, $85 right now?
Yeah. And that's why you guys are so respected is, you know, it doesn't take bashing another company, bashing another product to stand out and make yours make your products speak for themselves. You know what I mean? So
yeah, just show people what the product can do. If you have it, and I'll put myself out there on this one. If you have a quality product, you shouldn't have to bash anybody.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have to. If you got a quality product, you let the product speak for itself. It should be enough. If you have to resort to bashing somebody to sell your product, then yours probably ain't that good either. I'll say it.
And I could tell you that from a consumer standpoint, you don't want to support that business.
No,
there's companies out there now, and you know, I'm not here to bash, and that's my business. But there's companies out there now that probably have great products that I just don't stand behind their business model, and I'm not going to spend my money there. There's too 100%. There's too many other great places to spend my money, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to support the 100%. Folks that I believe in. Greg Burgess says, Creole, you're at the beginning of the Chaffalai, and I'm at the end. When I get some of these health problems done, hopefully I'll be fishing the lower end. We have some big ones down here.
Yeah, they do. They've got real potential for some big ones down on the end. The only problem is they get infiltrated by sharks way worse than we do. Sharks are a big problem down there where he's at in the southern part.
Yeah, that is a secret area of the world that a lot of people don't realize is one of the best fisheries you'll ever see.
Yeah,
and I mean, a lot of people don't know about it.
Well, there's been a lot of spotlight on the Louisiana waters over the last year or two, and I imagine as people explore and start to talk more and more, these low-lying, looked-over areas are going to start getting picked apart by people traveling and searching for giant fish.
The one thing that helps our particular area, you know, what we call the Three Rivers area so much, is that it's a little bit secluded. Like there's no real store right there nearby. The boat ramps are at best. The phone signal is terrible for at least half of it. And because of its isolation, that kind of helps me out a little bit in my area. Now you start getting down towards Baton Rouge, New Orleans and all, I think you'll get more traffic there because of that. And plus with King Cat has put that spotlight on the New Orleans area so much. Some people are driving right through my area to go down there, and I'm convinced that my area is better. That's just my opinion. I'm welcoming anybody to prove me wrong.
Well, as soon as we get our plane tickets, I'll tell you when to pick me and Jackie up. We're coming down there.
Yeah. Roger, you know you have an open invite for any day you come.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. We're going to cash in on it. Don't think we ain't. We're cashing in on it.
Oh yeah. That's what Mike said from the pictures he sees in Louisiana boat ramps need help. Mike, I'm telling you, the pictures you have seen of boat ramps, those are the good ones. I'm telling you right now, those are the good ones. You don't want to see the ramps I put in at.
Should have seen the one we put in at the diversion canal.
Oh,
half of it was a rut.
We put one set of axles of my trailer was in a washout. I just let the axles drag down the ramp to put my boat in. That was crazy.
Heck yeah.
But hey, you do what you got to do.
I still want to, one of the ramps we put in all the time, it's all rocks. And there was, I don't know if you want to say who, but he put in a Dynasty at that spot.
I would have loved to have been there when that Dynasty 2.0 was back down that commercial landing and put in. I would have given every dollar I have to just see that, and the looks on the locals' faces, because I promise you, no local fisherman in that area knows what a Sea Ark Dynasty looks like. I love to see their faces to see that thing being backed in right there. Like, this guy must be lost. Like, what in the world is going on?
We usually think Jeremy's boat's kind of iffy for that round.
Oh, people look at my boat and think it's a fancy boat, much less that thing.
Lance says better cheddars are not allowed in Louisiana. I'd say they're not quite.
We're going to upgrade him to Boudin. Now, well, there's the Louisiana version of better cheddars. We have Boudin with pepper jack cheese in it.
Oh,
that's like the Cajun better cheddars. That might be a thing.
There you go.
Remember that. Cajun better cheddars. Remember that.
Although, if this area gets more popular, there's one safety announcement everybody needs to know. If you come and you're not with a local, do not check any nets or traps that are not yours.
Oh, God.
Don't touch them. Don't act like you're touching them. Don't be curious. Don't do it. The locals are angry about their nets. And the thing is, with our commercial fishermen, they do a better job than us at conservation. They throw all the big fish back. You ain't got to worry. You ain't got to be mad at them.
Yep, you've always said that they're after an entire different, size of fish than what we're targeting or what we're after.
They're after eater size. The people around here don't want those big fish because they're really not that good to eat. That's the whole. They can't sell them. Nobody buys them. So inherently, because of money, they're doing every bit the conservation we are.
They clap for us when they're out there dipping.
Oh, absolutely.
And we catch a fish, they'll look at us and clap.
Oh, absolutely. They love seeing us. Like, they'll be set up boat to boat, dipping shad and doing their thing about this time of year, and we'll go right by them, 20 foot from them, bumping. And man, they're cheering us on the whole time. They love it. They'll throw us bait in our boat for nothing just to watch us do it.
That's awesome right there. We definitely do not have that type of relationship with our commercial fishermen.
Because they know me and Jeremy, they know the boat, they know us.
Yeah.
We went to high school with some of them.
Right.
They know that we're helping conservation. We're not hurting the population.
We ain't after nothing they got. We ain't hurting them at all. So they're not. It took a little bit at first to establish that, but once they figured out that we ain't messing with anything they trying to do, man, they help us out a lot.
You're gonna have to introduce them to the new boat and get in tight.
That's gonna be a whole other. I'm gonna have to stop at the fish market and let them all look at it. Like, all right, y'all all get
this
a look.
This is the catfish rig.
This is the rig now. Don't put a bullet hole below the waterline in this one. It's me. Don't worry about it.
Or above the waterline. Jerry says you start messing with somebody's livelihood and you're going to mess around and find out. And you're absolutely right. And
let me tell you something. That's why I always said if any Pay Laker or Pay Lake fish, Pay Lake commercial fishermen would be foolish enough to come down here and think they're going to do that, they will definitely find out in the worst possible way.
That would not be safe.
No, that would not be safe. Their life expectancy would go down dramatically. I promise you that.
Those guys, it's not just because they're fishermen. Louisiana was built on it, and the town of like Simsport and the surrounding areas, they are people that have their families been fishing since they've migrated there from Europe or wherever they're
hundreds
from. Hundreds of years of fishermen.
Yeah,
that's all they know.
Yep,
right.
And if you're friends with them, they'll give you some. We've gotten some good. We learned a lot about fish migration tactics from them. They know.
Yeah,
they don't know on a sonar, but they know.
Yep, Jeremy has shared some information. As far as like their skipjack and everything else. As far as, and you guys have even said before that they'll give you information on what they're seeing in their nets, and
absolutely.
That's a great relationship to have. I'm jealous that we don't have that here. We just don't have much use for the commercial guys here.
Well, it's a different industry there than it is for us. It's a whole different industry.
Yeah. Fishermen was laying hand down. Yeah.
Yeah.
locals privilege when you know somebody by first name and stuff. You know, at least it gets you in there.
It does. Oh yeah.
Well, there's some perks that come along with being, you know, in with the commercial guys, and when you guys have a good standing relationship, you know, get. Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry. It's not skipjack. It's slicka.
It's been too long since I've been on this side of the screen. It's been a while. Like the other day when you were live fishing, you said fillet. I have to force myself to say it that way. I'm like, you see, he hadn't been around me enough anymore. He didn't say fillet.
Fillet. But I tell you what, this weekend the fillets were what was catching the fish. I think we caught one fish on something other than a shad fillet. And I mean, it's that time. Normally, they really don't start picking up the fillets until like the water's below 50. Mm-hmm. But we're right there at 60 right now, and I'll use a fillet anytime, honestly. But just because of the way that fish have been biting, they've been real kind of finicky. They're all covered in mud. Our fish have been completely buried in mud. So I'm trying to go slower, a little bit soft, smaller bait. And
I'll give our river about another 10 degrees or so of water temperature drop, and because normally for 90% of the year I do not cut gut pockets out. I don't. I like a big square piece of bait. Like if that shad is this tall, I'm gonna cut a body section that wide, a good big square chunk of bait. But when I downsize, I keep them square. I cut the gut pocket out. Then what you call them, SpongeBob's? I cut the gut pocket, and then I've got that section of just backbone and backstrap. Let's say still a square piece of bait, but it's maybe a 2-inch square piece instead of a 6-8-inch square piece.
I absolutely love doing that. That square chunk of just straight backbone and meat and the spine. It's just a very desirable chunk of meat.
Yeah. That is my cold weather bait. That's what my cold weather baits look like, because I don't want all that meat sticking out behind the hook, you know. So it's to keep that shorter profile. That's the only way to do it, is cut the gut pocket out.
Uncle
man himself, Uncle Lou. We were just talking about you, buddy.
Said his name 3 times and he showed up.
There you go.
Jeremy laughs. My favorite person ever that I've never met or talked to.
Because he's a big fan of that bumping rod, buddy.
The bumping rod and those planer boards from back.
Oh yeah, because I'm still running my Uncle Lou planer boards. I don't have a lot of miles on them, but I still got them.
Hey, don't you guys seen this last weekend? Of course, Ben Walls just dropped their video from being out with us this last weekend. I'm still running my original Uncle Lou's boards that he sent me clear back in the day, and I paired them up with a set of Freddie's boards because as we've all talked and mentioned before, you know, there are what I feel are better boards than others, and but no matter what board you get it all the same, because they do all pull different. And when you start running multiple boards, if you've got a board that's pulling different than the others, then it just makes things difficult when you go swapping boards around and doing stuff. And me, I'm a little OCD, so I want all my boards lined up nice and pretty. So if one of them starts to fall back behind or something crazy going, I catch it immediately. But if your boards are all over the place anyway, it's kind of hard to tell that something's going on.
Yep. In fact, honestly, you know, a tactic that I picked up last year, I did a little bit of it, and I did it some this year. You know, during the summer, our current actually slows down enough to be able to do this. But I'll be sitting on anchor, on spot lock, and, you know, on that big point that I fish at the confluence, and to get a few baits wider out of the boat, I'll actually put like my 2 left-hand boards on my anchoring rods and let them pull my rigs away from the side of the boat, get me a good spread on anchor. You know, I've probably done more of that with my boards than actual dragging baits. I'll be honest.
Almost got a garfish at one once.
Yeah, we had a big garfish on a board one time. We just couldn't keep him hooked up.
I free-lined a bait in some heavy current. I kept the rod in my hand so I could adjust the board, and just free-lined it like 20 feet behind the board. Had him on, ended up losing a big gar.
Just couldn't keep the hook in him. That'd have been cool.
Oh, that'd have been the best Uncle Lou.
He says her boards are all over the place. She covers everything, everywhere, and Chris is the one that keeps them all lined up and pretty.
Yep. 100%.
Turns out Jackie's just as much OCD about those boards as I am. So she'll go over there and start adjusting, make sure each one's spaced apart the exact same amount.
Yeah. I tell you how bad I am about it. Because I've got 2 sets. I've got a yellow set and a purple set. Well, I like to set my yellow ones further out and my purple ones kind of in because I can see those yellow ones so good. Yep. Well, you get a fish on the outside board. Now I got to let the purple one slip to the outside and put my yellow one on the inside. And man, it just drives my OCD crazy. It's like, dang it, I don't have my matching thing anymore. You got to get all the same color.
Hey, ask Uncle Lou if he at CatCon. I want him to sign my rod.
He's not kidding. I would love Uncle Lou to actually autograph my Uncle Lou bumping rod and just mount that sucker on the wall or something, man. God.
I don't know, Uncle Lou, if you were in earlier, but that rod that caught that hundo, I'm really about to retire it, like just out of respect.
I'd love to know how many pounds of fish that one bumping rod has caught. It's crazy. I could sit here and think for a little while and tell you it's caught dozens and dozens and dozens of fish 50 and over. You know,
I'm pretty sure it's caught 250 just this year.
Oh, it's over 250 for the year. I can tell you that.
I'm
100%. Sure. It's probably knocking
100 just in one.
Yeah, exactly. We're probably 400 to 500 pounds of fish on that rod this fall.
And the same convector. I'll throw it out there.
Same little convector.
That poor thing.
Bobcat, bless his heart, he knew how tore up I was when they stole my Uncle Lou bumping rod out of my garage and everything.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
No. I got robbed. They took everything I had, and we came to the gathering, and Bobcat walked up and gave me his Uncle Lou bumping rod.
Oh.
Yeah. You remember the Indian with the tear? That was me. I was tore up. And I
would lose it like I lost a family pet if something happened to that rod.
I did.
You see, for a long time, he never bumped with the Uncle Lou rod because that was my rod. He would bump with my B&M. Well, when I got my Black Horse rod from Lyle, he kind of like inherited the Uncle Lou, and it's been love ever since, you know, and rightfully so.
That rod was brought up many times when we were talking about making our own with Ancient Mariner. I was like, now look, I have a favorite. It better be better.
I have a favorite. You better be able to top this.
So when you guys go famous, so we heard that I heard that the news had got a hold of you guys and was wanting to do an article about this fish now. So when it goes global, Uncle Lou, I don't know what kind of pressure you're going to get to get back in the bumping rod business.
I know, right? Hey, it could happen. You never know.
You have to keep us posted. So is this a newspaper article? Is it going to be on television or?
It's a television. It's actually going to be a story on the local news here in Central Louisiana.
Yeah, it's for a segment they do called Down Home Louisiana.
Yeah.
So it's kind of on like the family, the brothers, like it's kind of a all-in-one thing that they want to do.
I tell you that makes it even more special. You know how we feel about family and kids and brothers, and just watching you guys out there doing it as a family with all of you, the kids involved, you guys involved, dad out there going out there with you guys. That brings such a genuine, unique character to what you guys already have going on down there catching big monster cats in Louisiana. It just makes it that much more enjoyable to share that kind of story stuff.
I mean, truth be told, I couldn't do all this by myself. It's too much. We go to really work a boat out on that river. You got to have 2 people. You minimum. You can't safely do that by yourself all the time. And it takes a group of us to pull off what we do. Because sometimes it's a lot. There's been many times I've been at work and him and Dad go get bait for the next day, and it's a group effort. It really is.
Yeah, especially in the spring, whenever the bait's at all kinds of different locations.
Yeah,
I had a whole plate of boiled shrimp right before I came here.
Get out.
You're right there. Greenwell says, "Don't do like I did. The Uncle Lou rod that caught mine and my brother's PB went swimming." Ooh.
Ugh. I've had rods that went swimming before.
I protect that rod with my life. Jeremy, ask Jeremy anytime. I'm not joking. I am I am just the biggest fan of Uncle Lou because of that rod. It's kind of silly. I really want him to sign that rod.
Actually, I'm not gonna say the other brands, but we actually did film a video for another YouTube channel actually that we did a side-by-side comparison of a whole bunch of different factory bumping rods. That Uncle Lou was number one, and by a long shot. It wasn't like it was close. It was a long shot.
There was only one other rod that I've used, and I've used almost every company's bumping rod at some point. Maybe not every, but very, very close.
Right.
And the Uncle Lou's, and the only other rod that I felt was close to it was the Warrior Cat Gen 2 bumping rod, which was
I've heard that one's a really, really, really good rod. I mean, to say that the only bumping rod I've ever used in my career to beat the Uncle Lou is a Black Horse Custom, that's what it took to be better than an Uncle Lou. That's high ground to stand on as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
If you ever see an Uncle Lou bumping rod at a pawn shop, buy it.
Oh my God.
I don't care what you got to do. Buy it.
I tell you, when they stole all my stuff, I was like, I got Uncle Lou's rods. You don't understand. These are rare. Like nobody around here has this shit. I'm telling you, if you see an Uncle Lou's, it's mine.
that poor rod, you can see it in the video. On the end, you can tell where it's all faded except for where the rod holder goes.
That rod is yellow. It's got some miles on it.
That's same with mine. I took mine out. I fished with J-Dog on Friday. I didn't even realize that's the rod I brought. And it was my original, very first rod I ever got from Uncle Lou. And it has seen some sun now.
Oh, yeah. It don't hurt him any, though.
No.
Because it will. I mean, like I said, if you pause it on that one part of the video that Andrew came over to my side of the boat and that big fish decided he was just going to hammer that rod down, it was bent to the foregrip. I didn't know that rod would do that. I've never seen it do that before. That was crazy.
I don't know if I would have taken a hammer to it right at that moment.
No.
Tim in the house says, I agree. I told them early in the week it was the best brother moment in a long time on YouTube. There you go, man.
There was a lot of emotion at that point. It was, on my part, it was a little bit of disbelief. Like, I had to get it in my head that, hey, this just happened. This is real. This just happened. A lot of emotions ended up coming out on camera.
I think the best shot of it, which is I still feel somewhat embarrassed over for the yelling and stuff. I forgot the camera I just had it in my hand and it just so happened to point back at us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that part.
Although the star of the show,
Caleb.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was we didn't tell him to do any of that. Like
most of that we didn't know was on camera until I started editing.
No, we didn't even know. I didn't know he had the camera talking in it. We handed him the camera at one point and said, and it's in the video. And this is 100% no cut, no nothing, no editing. It's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
Hand him the camera. Say, all right, Caleb, you can film if you want, but hey, just film us and film the fish. Immediately turned around, turned the camera to him and started talking. And just immediately. Like, what in the world is going on here?
He's better at the whole like and subscribe thing than we are.
He is. Yeah. He actually is.
We always forget to do it.
Yeah.
He does it every time.
He's on it. Jerry Parker says, Jeremy, Dynamic Duo of the Year.
Oh.
Get your nominations in. That's the only way it counts.
Woo. That's some tough competition right there, though.
Well, there you go. Danny says the only rods I have that haven't faded in color are dark blue or black, which I'm going to imagine they probably have faded. You just not to the point that it's noticeable. Yeah, I've got rods, all kinds of rods that were brighter. They're all brighter, and then when you first get them, but
yeah, you don't realize it over time.
Well,
if your rods are brand new, shiny, and pretty, you're not fishing enough.
Right.
I think the name's in the hat or something like that for trying to get fish of the year.
Blue Cat of the Year. The name is in the hat for Blue Cat of the Year.
I'm trying to mention that because that actually sounds like cool.
Well, at first, once I caught that 87 like a month ago, I threw my hat in the ring for Blue Cat of the Year for that fish. Well, ever since he caught that one, I'm like, nah, I ain't even trying anymore. Like, nope.
I told Jeremy to try angler of the year because we had such an incredible fall.
Yeah.
He said the competition's too high. He'd never.
That's a lot of anyway. That's a lot of competition right there. I don't know,
Dang.
but I will say this. I thought about this the other day. I have won every live tournament that I've entered this year.
What?
I didn't enter many. Now keep in mind, I entered 3. I entered 3. All I Winter Blues when Brandon came fish with me, then the Can You Beat Daryl, and then the Can You Beat Creole. That's it. That's the only live tournaments I've fished all year, but I won all 3 of them.
And I mean, those last 2 were by quite a margin, if I do say. I mean,
I was against you on the Can You Beat Creole, and I was like, yeah, this day's done.
Yeah, I
was planning on nickel and diming you to death.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went back and like was listening to like what y'all were saying because I was too busy dealing with fish, and I laughed. I was like, oh my God, this stuff is priceless.
Yeah, there was a point on one of those where me and Jeremy individually were 1 and 2 if we'd have split ourselves. That'd
have been the Can You Beat Creole,
yeah,
which that was not my idea for that tournament, by the way. That was all Daryl on that one. I kind of tried to argue the point, but it was too late. He asked me to help him do a fundraiser for Vets with Nets. I'm like, hey, even though I'm not a captain for him anymore, I'm like, yeah, sure. Heck yeah, we'll help him out. He's like, okay, well, good. I'm glad I got your help. The next day, I see the thumbnail and title for the tournament. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, Darryl, like, what? Like, man, come on. He's like, oh, just go with it. Just go with it. You know how Daryl is.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Whatever, dude. Like, okay, that's fine.
I can only imagine one of the best days fishing we've ever had.
You can't make this stuff up, dude. I don't know how it happens sometimes.
Yep, Danny. Uncle Lou says UV will sucks the color right out of them. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what company it's from or who's. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You fish it. You fish enough that it's going to get. They're going to get sucked out and.
Yep. Unless you do like we have done with the ancient mariner rods and use I'm not going to give away the secret, but there's a certain clear we use that is extremely UV resistant. You'd be surprised how long you can leave a rod out and it not change color.
The owner of that was telling me yesterday about the difference. The Challenger series and the Coracle series. Yeah. The paint design and the clear design, the design of the rod, it will not fade. I'm not saying it won't fade eventually in years and years.
But not nearly like most rods.
And all of the Challengers Jeremy has, if we'd wipe the blood off of them, we could put them back in the box and you wouldn't know.
Yeah, they haven't faded or anything, and they've been out in the weather all this time.
Yeah. Well, guys, anybody got any questions for you guys? I just now realized we're already over an hour.
We've been yapping this whole time. I hadn't even answered questions or nothing. Go figure.
I just missed you guys, man. I think this whole show I've pretty much been kind of just talking to you guys.
Right.
I'm trying to watch chat, but it's been fun having you guys on the show.
I honestly wish I could do more of these live shows. That my schedule wouldn't get in the way of so many things. But it makes it special when I can have the time to come do it. But I do miss it definitely. I miss talking to everybody and talking in chat and everything.
We talked about it on the boat. It's kind of good that I caught the fish because I was available to do quote unquote media stuff.
Right. Well, that's why I let you catch it. See.
No.
We're not going to buy that for a second. Nah. Yeah, I didn't know Jeremy was joining us until he popped up backstage, and I was like, we got Bucky all tonight.
Like, hey, remember me?
He wasn't excited about tonight's show until he saw Jeremy. When it was just me, he wouldn't say anything.
Well, I wouldn't have been either. I don't blame him.
Well, I'll let you guys all know here now that next week we won't be doing a show. Next week is Amelia's birthday. We got some plans for her.
Happy birthday.
She's got a birthday party this Saturday with some of the family and her friends from school and stuff. But then next Tuesday is her actual birthday. So we're going to take her out and we'll be out late, I'm sure.
See Uncle Lou's comment right there. Remember what I talked about? A special kind of clear.
He knows.
Yep.
He knows. He knows, and that's what we're doing. That's what you got to do.
Yep. It's crazy how much science and is involved when it comes to fishing gear and tackle and rods and reels and all that stuff, it's far more thought out than what I would assume most of people think.
If you want it to last for years, it needs to be. Now,
Right.
if you're gonna throw, like I'm gonna say like the Walmart stuff. If you're gonna use it and throw away at the end of the year and buy new stuff at Walmart again, it's not nearly as important. But if you're gonna step up and spend more money on this quality gear and keep it for years to come, it needs to be. It really does.
But that's why Ancient Mariner backs with lifetime warranty.
Right.
It's confidence in the product.
Right.
Greg Burgess says, Creole, if you have any hand-me-downs, hand it down the river. That would be great. I'll catch fish with your rods at this end of the Chaffalaya, and you'll be on both ends.
I tell you what, especially coming up soon, I actually may be able to help you out with that because I'm fixing to have quite the collection.
Uh-oh. Well, I could tell you that Jeremy sent me some of his hand-me-down rods when I got robbed and put them to use.
Every one of them caught fish, too.
Every one of them did. That's right. Matter of fact, I used that same shipping tube to ship another rod out today.
There you go. That and keep in mind, somebody shipped me rods in that tube, and I shipped them to you, and that tube is going to go like around the country 3 or 4 times before it's over.
Yeah, we should left our.
Roger got my 2 Mad Catch rods and my 2 B&Ms, right?
Yep.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't give him the Blue Cats. I know you didn't give him the Uncle Lou. I'd have shot you.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
I thought you had gave him the Blue Cats for some reason.
No, I gave that coworker of Laura's the Blue Cats because they had some stuff stolen out the back of their truck at a football game.
Oh, that's why
they got my 2 Blue Cats and my Hellcat Patriot. That's where those rods are.
That's rough. Dustin Clark wants to know, Creole, you going anywhere over Thanksgiving?
We are gonna be out the Saturday after Thanksgiving because I'm finally taking that couple out on that guide trip that I donated for a charity thing here local.
Gotcha.
Which is why I can do a guide trip because it's free. I ain't charging them. So it's a loophole.
It's a loophole. We can get it around that here. We'll just say we'll take donations. You don't have to pay.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
If I just got my gas covered, I'd be pretty happy.
Somebody is in the process of getting their license to put their capman from their name.
I have been weighing that back and forth. I bet I've been asked probably close to a dozen times in the last month if I would take money to take people out. And I'm like, no, I don't want to take money. Just if you want to go, I'll take you. If you want to pitch in on the gas, great. Because we all know that it adds up. But I was like, no, I don't. I'm not going to charge people to go. Legally, I don't think I can, or I'm not supposed to. But
not supposed to. Right, that's the proper.
Not supposed to. Yeah, I'm sure it happens, but
right.
If at the same day they happen to give you a few $100 for you to go buy a new bicycle or something, I mean that's a separate story.
Yeah, totally unrelated.
Unrelated.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's getting to the point where I'm not going to say random people, but people I really don't know at all somehow get my contact information off the YouTube channel or something. They'll ask, well, hey, do you, or I think some people assume that I was a guide or I am a guide. I don't know where they got that impression, but I don't know. It happened. And they'll reach say, hey, do you offer, like, can we schedule a guide trip? And I keep having to tell them, well, no, I'm not really a guide. I don't do this for a living. Right. Honestly, I'm tired of telling people no.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of telling people no.
So, Roger, you better take our offer because, give it a few months and it's going to charge you money.
Oh, God. No. That ain't happening.
You can see his face.
Yeah, like it look like, wait, what? No. Roger gets the friends and family discount of free $99.
Good. I'm as broke as a McDonald's ice cream machine, buddy.
Hey, can we give Uncle Lou a free trip too? Just because he's my favorite.
Hey, if he will drive out down here, you damn right I will.
I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what his real name is. I don't know anything about him except that rod.
In fact, I told him on my last fishing trip, I said something about Lee Reed, and he's like, who's that? I'm like, dude, that's Uncle Lou. He's like, huh? Total confusion. Like,
I don't need to know his name. I just need to know his rods.
God. Well, guys, it was great having you on the show tonight. Jeremy, it's always great to have you back in your comfortable position here on the show.
Yeah, baby.
What a fantastic catch. I mean, the video itself was just phenomenal. It was entertaining. It was educational. It was funny. You could tell at the end of the video just how much emotions were pouring through you guys.
It was
You couldn't hide it if you had to.
No.
But fantastic job, man. Really proud of you guys.
And thank you everybody for watching it. It's well over 2K views.
There you go.
That's by far the best since I've took over editing, and people have been outpouring good jobs. And I don't publicly say much. I don't get on Facebook and comment and all like Jeremy, or say hi to everybody in chat, but kind of blanket thank you everybody.
Yep.
Absolutely. If you haven't checked out the video yet, you're missing out. Make sure to go over there and check out their latest and greatest video, the 101 point. What was it officially?
101.1.
101.1. Yeah. Sharon says, amazing. I'm so happy they were together. Hey, there's Hooks and Hammocks right there. At the very end.
It's not for the fish. Watch it for Caleb, because hearing Caleb's joy during that is.
Oh yeah.
If you know everything about Caleb, I don't throw it out all over, but just hearing his joy was special.
Oh yeah.
It really was. That video has everything. I'm telling you, it has everything. So again, thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with us. Thank each and every one of you for stopping in tonight and hanging out with us for a while. Like I said, next Tuesday night, I'm going to take the night off and spend it with Amelia for her 9th birthday. And but we'll be back. I'm not sure what is going on.
I don't know.
I'm trying to point at you. It's all backwards.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be back a week after that, which actually by then will have been Thanksgiving, I believe. So we don't get a chance to talk between now and then. Hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday. We are heading to Pennsylvania. Jackie's grandfather lives up in Pennsylvania. He's coming down out of the cabin from a bear hunt. So these guys, these are some real country boys,
right?
Much like y'all down there. These guys are big, rugged, rough dudes that just love to hunt and fish. So I think I'm going to fit in just fine.
Oh yeah,
So,
I learned a few things.
There you go. So we're going to head up there and enjoy our holiday up there with them. So bless everybody. Thank you all again for watching. We'll see you real soon.
Bon fish, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Oops. I'm hitting the wrong button.
Awkward stare.